Hi, so we have our fifth Friends of Fear podcast, and today we are joined by Jacquie Shek. And I'm sure that, like me, you'll just be drawn to her magnetic energy. She's a real delight to be around. And it really aligns with her work through a spin instructor and also a wellness coach for women, like improving their relationship with their bodies and their general concept of good health and loving themselves. We cover so many things in this conversation, from cooking your first chicken after a breakup to standing up in a courtroom at a very young age. It was a real strength in her vulnerability to sit with these really difficult experiences and experiences of fear and anxiety, not just choosing busyness to numb it all the time. Ask of happy smiles to the world. I'm so glad that a lot of her work now is on sharing with us how to make something beautiful out of trauma. Really something that the world just can't get enough of. So I'll not chat anymore. Let's get to it. So to start by getting us on your brain and know, what does befriending fear mean to you?
Befriending fear is more than sort of welcoming it. It's a lot of embracing of fear. And I wanted to use the word overcome, but I feel like the word overcome kind of goes around it instead of actually going through it. Which is why the idea of befriending is a very cute word, I'd like to say, by the way.
Yeah.
It's about kind of walking with it and knowing that you can have that fear, but not have that emotion as a thing to kind of cripple you down. You can walk with it through it.
That's nice. Whereas if you were overcoming it, does it feel like it could cripple you down?
Yeah, I feel like overcoming is kind of over the hurdle. You're not, for example, if this is fear, you kind of around, you're avoiding it and to make something happen. Whereas if you're befriending, it's togetherness, and it goes hand in hand and not just a
yeah, you're fully integrating into it.
Yeah,
nice. I like that. How have you navigated fear in your life so far?
Navigating fear in life, I think when I was a lot younger, around quite a young age, maybe 14, 15, I was diagnosed with depression and anxiety. And that meant a lot of apart from all the psychiatrists and the therapy and everything, it was going into bed, you're home alone in your own beds. Well, not home alone, I was obviously quite young, so I had my mom on the side and I have a helper in the other room. But I would just be so horrified because of the little internal thoughts, the little monster in the closet, and that was kind of for me the beginning of facing and having fear, almost like a close friend, let's say, or just something in the side all the time, constantly. And for the longest time, I feel like it was just me being scared and me allowing me to be fearful of a lot of the things and enduring the fear. And only until a lot later in life, I'd say, we grow up and you start to learn and maybe you face a lot more things and experience in life. Do you then sort of learn to, as we said, befriend it?
Yeah.
Or maybe let's say we overcome it a bit and then we learn to befriend it a bit. So it's interesting. The relationship with fear, actually, now that you say it, is quite different along the way. And it's no longer, I remember that when I was, in that phase of the transitioning of fear, I remember telling myself, it's no longer are you going to just let it affect you. It's not just letting it come. It's literally just grab it, tackle it, whatever you need to do, sort it out. And I think that was such a growth moment.
Yeah, because that sounds tough to have started so young, having to grapple with what we kind of think is very adult ideas. You had to go at such a young age to be grappling with this. And that's such a pivotal moment to be able to think okay, this is going to be happening. I'm just going to grab it and take control of the situation.
Exactly, yeah. So I grew up kind of with all the fear and obviously with the idea of that, and in between a lot of trauma that came along, which is where all the fear comes in as well, because not only is it new life experiences, it's also experiences that aren't the most comfortable.
Yeah.
And then I was vegetarian, vegan for like 2 years, just like eco-friendly purposes. And so I don't really like cook meat or even eat meat. And then even after I started eating meat again, my boyfriend at the time, he loves cooking. So he'd always be the one doing all of the cooking, all of the chefing and everything. And sadly, by the time we broke up, and it was such a vivid ritual, I don't know, I had like almost like a 5-step, 10-step plan of like, this is what you're going to do to move on. This is what's going to happen. Yeah. And one of my rituals is I went straight to the supermarket, got myself a full chicken, went home and took a knife and just dissected it all. And the idea of like even touching a raw chicken, let alone dissecting it limb from limb, chicken breast and everything, it was so horrifying to me, but so empowering at the same time, because it was kind of my practice, my way of saying like, Jacquie, you got to take care of yourself now. You know, you can't be independent, like you can't depend on him anymore. And so I had to do that for myself. And I think that was one of the first moments I felt like I just stared fear straight in the eyes and I was like, not today, boy, not today.
That's so interesting for something like so practical, like chopping up a chicken to cook it. Wow. Yeah. And tell me more about that dependency, because that's super interesting. Has that been part of your experience of fear?
100%. I think a lot of it, like, you know, the idea of me being at home and like being alone and scared in bed. And then I felt I was an only child as well. So I think loneliness is a big fear factor of mine. Not maybe even knowing or identifying that it's a fear. It's just always been there. Yeah. And so like when I started dating and we went into a long-term relationship for like almost 5 years, it was easy. Like, you know, we were young, we were in like university and everything. So it was easy to kind of like mold into each other and depend on each other a lot. And when you're like 3 and just like losing that person, that family member, it's like family member, it's more than just a lover, a best friend. It was hard to be like, okay, well, what do I do with my time now? Like, and it's like going back to that 14-year-old me again. And like, you know, like, how do I deal with everything by myself? And so I think that was quite scary and it was hard to navigate. But at the same time, it's like, I feel like you all adapt, and the way to like overcome / befriend fear is really just to face it, isn't it? Like, it's one of those things where you try it once and then you learn, and then you're like, it's not that bad anymore, and then you just get more comfortable with it every time.
And I love that, like, your example of like the chicken is like such a nice, like, this is one step to do it. So you don't need to suddenly like face everything, because that would be really intense. It's just like pick one thing and then, like, it can grow. I like that.
I don't know why it's the chicken. Like,
that's stuck in your brain. It's like a pivotal moment.
Yeah, it just popped in my mind. Like at that time, it was so many things just came up to me to be like, these are the little practices, and it's gonna help you move on. Like, and how interesting is it when you do certain practices that's like an external behavior, like an action, but it's so powerful in your own mind, and like how much of that sort of like, it can heal you, it can change you, it can like, you know, impact you in so many different ways.
I suppose it's like, it's so empowering to be like, actually I can take care of myself. So it's not like oh, I don't need anyone, but it's just like well, I can have people without like they have to support me. I can like support them as well. It's a nice feeling.
I think it's a bit of like rewiring your brain from something that you're not used to.
And I can definitely relate, like, because I didn't really have a stable family growing up, I then like chosen family was so big for me. So when I became like a young adult and I was like really looking for people, and I think I like latched on because I was like, great, this is like that love that I was looking for. So I think I very got like dependent on people, and I was like, and we need to make this work. And then it was like, for me, it was trying to learn how to like be by myself a bit more. So that's been my sort of
having to choose your own family. Let's say like this isn't just like people you're stuck with and you got to deal with it. Like, no, you actually get to be like, oh, these people actually like help me, or like, you know, make me a better person, versus like some people that you may thought was a good friend / could be a family member, but realize like they're just not, you know.
I've had like a few of those where I think I would read little bits of like care and be like, oh, we think exactly the same, and then learn and like, oh no, actually you're not the same as everyone. Like some relationships aren't just quite compatible, and then that sort of heartbreak of being like, oh, you're not the family I was looking for, and then like rebuilding with other people. So I think like that's been like quite a big lesson for me.
But I feel like every decision that you make, like the people that you learn to keep or like move away from, is also learning so much more about yourself at the same time.
You kind of discover yourself by like relating to others, for sure, because you're like, oh no, you're like me, and I like this way of being with someone, and then you kind of like, oh, that's something I want from a relationship, and then you find the people that like the same as you. It's like a mutual discovery.
Nice. But it's also like so special to find these connections.
100%. Definitely have them now. That's special.
Happy for you.
Can you tell me the first time you worked through fear, what that was like for you?
First time I walked through fear, apart from the chicken story.
We can end the podcast here.
That was all I've got, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much. There was a lot. This one's a bit deep. I don't want to go too specific, but I will say, and like, you know, things happen. I ended up having to be a witness in court, and my friend was the victim of it. And it was scary because so many reasons. Number one was like, you know, telling family and everything. And there was a slight bit of like injustice where the technically we're both victims of it. However, in terms of like, you know, sometimes they say with law, like we can only charge them if we focus onto one case and everything. So I ended up turning myself into a witness in order to make sure that we can sort of like win the case. And so I was 16 and sitting in the witness stand and having to point out which person it is, and at the same time, like, you know, explain the whole situation. And I think for a 16-year-old, now that I look back into it, you know, like as the person, like the much grown adult that we are, I still sometimes think about it and go like, that's so crazy. Like no 16-year-old should ever have to feel like that. Where I loved, and I was quite proud of myself, let's just say, in the whole situation and how messy it is. I still managed to sort of like go through it and, you know, speak up for myself as well as my friend and make sure that we got the justice that we had. And I feel like that was the first time I'd say like it was moving with fear. It was like knowing that it's scary to even see that person's face, to be in the same room again. And then just being like, that's it. Like, this is it. And try to like make the best out of a not so wonderful scenario. Let's put it that way.
And to be in like the courtroom as well as a child. And you mentioned like the context of like depression that you were going through. Like that's so much for like a grown woman, never mind a child. Wow.
16 was a big year.
Oh my gosh.
We're good. And I think it was a good end. I think do you sometimes watch television shows where you're like so angry at a certain thing, or like, you know, this character and what they've happened, and like I would do that, and I just sit on my laptop. I was like, nobody can talk to me right now. I need to make sure this person gets like, you know, the justice. I need the happy ending. You know? So that was it needed to wrap up, and pat on the back, 16-year-old Jack's like.
Kudos to you. Yeah, that's powerful. How has that like carried you since having been in that experience?
I think it's with emotions and everything as well. Like trauma, as we talked about a lot today, is so different every single year, and there's no like a healed it, fixed it, got it. You know, it's a lot of just like every year that you see it, it could be different grief as well. Like when it happened, I probably, you know, was just, as I said, enduring everything. The older you get, the more that you can look back and then, or even like come back to it and see like, wow, like you learn so much more as a person, like you become a different person. And so you always look at it in a different light. So even like a couple years, and obviously as something that's not the best of memories, it's one that I always wanted to just be like, please just let it pass. Like, I don't want to let it come back again. It's not a memory that I want to bring up all the time, or at least I don't want to see it as a memory that is still traumatizing. But I think every year that I think like, oh yeah, I think I'm over it now. You know, like you have those steps of like, you need to mention, you have to say it out loud.
Yeah.
You need to be able to like speak about it, you know, or like, you know, these little things, and
without like breaking down.
Yeah. It's like the logic of it though. It's like, logically speaking, here are the 5 steps that you get it, but it's never just like a tick the boxes, right?
No.
It takes time. It's not just like you do have to put the work in, but you also got to like let it process through sometimes. And knowing that it's not, as we always say, it's not a linear progression. It's not just like a done, like it'll come back, but then it's just how you see it, how you react to it. And so like even till today, I would think about it quite often, like not often, but like, you know, the topics come up or something reminds you of it. And I just kind of like, it's important to give yourself that moment to like breathe and process through though. Yeah. As I said, it's just grief in different times. Sadly, it's just not going to go away completely, but you know, externally what's done is done. And internally speaking, it's just kind of like continue to move through life and allowing every story, every trauma kind of like build the person that you are and make something good out of it. That's the most important bit. Yeah. I just remember I said that to my friend once and I was like, with all the trauma that we've been through, we might as well make something beautiful out of it.
Make some art.
Make some art.
Yeah. That's a gorgeous way of saying, because it's like it's happened. You can't change it. And I think like part of it is like, you should never have had it. So it can be a bit like wanting to reject the impact it's had on you. It's like, well, I've already been through it. I don't want to have all of this shit as well. Yeah. But actually the acceptance is just part of the healing, is letting it like move around. And I
think it's also important to accept that there's no such thing, sadly, as just putting it away.
No.
It's somewhere.
Yeah. You're just moving it around. Like.
You shove it under the sofa, it's still there.
Watching you.
Put it in the cupboard, it's still there. And it's gonna find you one day.
And there's this thing like sometimes like your body can literally hold on to something for you until you're ready to look at it. And then it'll come out and you're like, oh my God, this was from like 10 years ago. Like what?
Yeah. How do you feel about that, by the way? Just knowing it's like, oh my gosh, like this happened so long ago and I'm only just processing it now.
Yeah. I can feel like sometimes I almost feel like I've failed in some way. I'm like, what? I'm not over it.
Yeah.
Like, why would I like? There's no like, as you say, there's no like trajectory of like, well, now you need to be done. Like, move on with your life. Like, no, that is part of who I am. It's in like the cells of my being.
The fact that you have to be triggered to that memory again, and at the same time snowball into the fact that it's still something that you haven't processed through, and it just gets bigger and bigger, doesn't it?
It does. And then I think like, well, all the sort of memories and experiences where you'd be like, oh, that's a positive memory. Yes, that's shaped how I live my life. Like, why would it be any different about like things that you'd see as like a negative, horrible experience, like not have shaped how you move now? A lot of the thing for me has been like self-compassion, like pouring more love on myself. Then it's like that, well, this is just all part of it, rather than like, I only love these little bits. It's like, well, all of it can be in this little love bucket.
I love that. It's so much more than just the idea, or what people always say about the word process. What is process? Like, what are you prioritizing in terms of like the situation, right? Like, how do you want to handle it? What is the outcome that you want, apart from just being like, throw it to the back of your mind, or like throwing it into the dumpster? Is like, what do you want to come out of it, and not just what you want to get rid of? Exactly.
Because then it feels a bit like you're rejecting a bit of yourself that was already rejected in some way. I'm like, no, let's like bring it into the fold. Like,
it's very important. I think self-love, super important part of it.
And what has been the most important experience for you of like befriending fear, moving through fear?
Some things we've touched on just now, which I can like low-key speak about again, is I think we'll say the biggest sort of like fear for me was moving to a different country at the age of 29.
Oh yeah.
It's one thing when you're like 18, your parents send you to school somewhere else, you know, like, especially as like, I lived in Hong Kong, by the way. So it's like, you know, especially in an international school, which means like a lot of us aren't actually local either.
Very much the norm then.
Yeah, so I spoke as if I wasn't local. No, I'm born and raised Hong Kong, but we have a lot of like, you know, expats and a lot of like, different people from all across the globe. And, you know, for them, it'd be like parents send them to the UK at the age of 18. And so when I was 29, and then my dad was like, "You want to come over, by the way, like, let's have a little life here." And I was like, "Why not? Everyone does that."
Yeah.
Not when you build your full identity, your connection, your network, your friends, your family, you know, your whole base for 29 years to then move over to a different city. And before all of that, I think when I was in Hong Kong, apart from, you know, all the what we've talked about in the past, I think after I graduated uni, like I already knew what I wanted to do. Okay. I went straight, I DM'd my instructors and I was like, I want an audition. I'm going to become a spin instructor.
Love.
Say less, next week we've got an audition. I was like, perfect. And then, you know, so I kind of like had that direction for me already. I was like very head first, you know, you're young. You've got like infinite possibilities.
The energy is maximum.
Yeah, exactly. You're just filled with hope. You're filled with energy. Just like whatever we're going to do it. Even with failure, like, I just pivot. Like there's no hesitation. It's like, all right, this one didn't work. Great. Same direction, but just pivot in a different way and we'll go. So a lot of the things I feel like I was quite lucky, I'd say quite lucky in life. Everything kind of worked out in my favor. There wasn't a lot of like, you know, there are a lot of people that graduate school not knowing what they do. The fear of uncertainty is a big word, by the way. And this one was really just kind of, things just kind of went along. And then trauma dealing is like aside in terms of just fear. I felt like I'm such a like, do everything at least once type of girly. You would know me, I'm quite like chaotic. Yeah. I used to have a phrase where I say like, if people think Hong Kong is too much, I am the epitome of Hong Kong's chaos. And so
culture is just in how you are as a person.
I embody the crazy as in like the city never sleeps, you know, you're like always ongoing. I'll be going to work like mornings, teaching classes, 7 p.m. straight to like socials.
Yeah, you never stop.
We don't stop. We don't stop.
Like, how does she do it?
You see me now, you see me then.
Wow.
But like, you know, from that personality, that energy, and then feeling like I literally had a moment where I was like, I feel like I've tried everything once, I've done everything, I just feel fearless. I literally took pride of being fearless. 2 months of Manchester humbled me down. No. I think it was the idea of like, it's not that I was fearless. It was that I wasn't facing the fears that I was fearful of.
Oh, okay. You're just turning away.
I'm just here like peripheral vision, be like, oh yeah, what else is there for me? What else is there for me? And I didn't realize, oh, it's right there. You know, so it's like moving to a different country. As I said, like, yeah, sure, I had experience of work on my belt, but then coming over, starting from scratch still. I mean, I had my dad here. I got a job with a spin studio before I even moved over here because I already sort of like tried to set up camp, tried to be as prepared as possible.
Prepared. Yeah.
Very prepared.
She got a
plan. And then within 5 months, my dad had to move back for business, which meant I was left alone in a 3-bedroom house.
Oh, wow.
And trying to navigate this whole sort of like just moved to a new country, just adapting to like, even when I spoke English basically my whole life, I realized there's still a bit of culture shock.
Oh, really?
Mind you, my high school, like, secondary school? Yeah. It's called King George V.
Oh, wow. The most British thing.
Yeah, I was like, yeah, you should be fine, you know.
I'm basically one of them.
I felt I was such a planetarian. Like, I'll blend in anywhere I go. And I come over, I was like, I feel like such a small town girl. Like, I'm still like learning to adapt. The accent, the way the system works, the UK economy, you know, taxes.
Everything is different.
Council tax. Yeah. Question mark. And that's where the fear of uncertainty was, I think, the that hit me the hardest. And I think that is one, uncertainty and loneliness is one of, I would like to think, one of the biggest fears that people can have as well. Because it's that you don't know what the next step is. I literally, family just left and having like, in between jobs as well. Like at the time, it was still quite difficult. I had to like try to pick up a couple of jobs, but like it was just in and out as if like a tap running water through my fingers. And so it's just so many instability, and I was again alone in my own bedroom a lot of the time. That fear, that sort of like 14-year-old came back again. And this time I didn't have like 10,000 socials or like a lot of jobs to just numb me. Like there's no like, you know, what people do to numb or like try to avoid, or what we call rejecting emotion is like alcohol, substances, or like, you know, anything that you can think of. I think overworking or like overloading yourself to a point where you can't even sit still for yourself in 5 minutes without your phone, that says a lot.
Yeah, because then I guess like you're so exhausted that you don't have time to process the loneliness and the fear because you're just done.
And I think that's the whole point when people do that sometimes is that you are trying to avoid being by yourself in your own, you're avoiding facing your own emotions, you're avoiding that because it's so scary to be in your own mind. And so I was
so real.
So I was not working as much, and mind you, I was quite, you know, workaholic. I tried to pack up my schedule to the point where I lost my voice. And then to like not working at all, just in my own bedroom by myself, terrified of even like people living in a house for the first time instead of an apartment, no security guards.
By yourself, it's a space.
Like, and then in Manchester, you guys have that thing where, well, I'm a part of this now, but you know, they have like almost like fireworks sounds or like gunshot sounds in the middle of, like, not middle of the night, but like late night. Sometimes this happened in certain neighborhoods. And it happened at mine. And I remember calling up my friend one time. Again, this was like just first month of actually living alone in my whole life. It's like, I think I hear fireworks or it's gunshots. I'm not too sure.
That's two extremes.
But like there's so many or like, you know, just riots where the fireworks are shot at people. So that was a lot of like these things that to me is so mind-blowing. Like it just
was very new.
That
sounds scary.
It is scary. Like I mean, at least in Hong Kong, it's a very safe system. We don't have things like that much.
Or down the street and feel pretty okay.
You don't just go like, oh, someone got mugged, like, cool, you know. Like, that doesn't really happen. And so learning to live in a country where everything's so different and like you feel like your safety's endangered. Like the first 2 months when I moved to Manchester, my dad was like, oh, by the way, there's like, you know, all the muggings and attacks. I have to be careful about hate crime as well. And then so I was like, oh, Dad, I'll just bring a pocket knife. I'm ready to go.
I'll defend myself.
And I remember what Dad said. He was like, if they robbed you and you like, you know, injured them, you're the one that gets supported, by the way. And I'm like, oh. You know, so like I felt out of control, fear of uncertainty, just like anything you can think of. My life's in danger. What am I doing here? Do I move home? I just moved over, you know, so many things to consider. And I think it was the fact that I had time. After all of this, by the way, I actually found so much light. And I'm still very grateful for all the experiences that happened. The amount of days that I just cried or like was scared in my bedroom were actually the moments I needed.
Okay.
It was a luxury to be able to actually crumble and break down and, you know, be honest with myself. It is so uncomfortable sitting there, and there's so many different ways I could just, I don't know, knock myself out in certain ways just to avoid it. But you got to sit with it. You got to be uncomfortable. Sadly, that is the only way to befriend fear, to actually sit with it and be comfortable with it. It's not like it will ever just not exist anymore. You can't let it go away. It's not going to just run away from you. Sadly, it's always going to be around, but it's just about working with it. And until it becomes a little less uncomfortable.
How did you hold that space for yourself for all those really big feelings?
It was hard. I did have to, like, as I said, I was in and out of therapy. And then so I did have to go back to therapy again. I think it was important. Because it's one thing to, like, as we said about like processing how you heal, you know, we want to make sure that you're guided in a good direction as well. It's like a broken finger. You can just let it heal on its own, but it might be crooked when it's done.
You want to have it set right. So you can then heal.
So it's a lot of uncomfortable feelings and literally just allowing myself to be refinding purpose in life, learning that my identity was all over the place. It wasn't, I wasn't who I am anymore when I was in Hong Kong, but I needed to embrace a new identity, let go of certain sort of like shoulds, let's say, like what you think is supposed to be, let go of all of that and embrace whatever sort of like just the present moment has for you. Go in a way, like go with the flow a little bit.
What has been your relationship with identity?
I think when I was, at least like, you know, there's always, especially with social media, there's like a lot of persona. I think with close
like presenting a self.
Exactly. And I feel like we talk a lot more about authenticity and vulnerability nowadays, which I'm so happy about. But where I lived and where I was working and that sort of like community, that society, you don't really like snap stories about you crying. You only snap like good food, good life, beaches, you know, everything
smiles
great.
Everywhere.
Travels, smiles everywhere. If I had like a panic attack or if I had like a mental health breakdown and was shut down for a week, I would just completely not be on social media for a week. But then I'll like, I don't know, go to Italy and every day I'm like, you know, spamming everyone with stories. And I think that was the identity where I had to learn to also embrace so much of like, not just be like, I feel like everyone always is like, oh, Jackie's such a happy, bubbly person. Like, and I think I took that as such a compliment to the fact that I keep shoving down the other side of things. I'll share it with close friends, but then like, you know, like but identity wise, I feel like that would be me. Like there's no crying. There's no like, you know, upset or like, you know, things like this. The only times I've probably shared a lot of these stories is like to managers because I have to be off work for like a week or something like that. You know, like
it's like a logistical reason.
Like, otherwise you would not hear about it. And
what was important to like presenting that like always happy?
I think it was in a way like strength and power. Like, and this goes to masculine actually, where it's like you don't have to like, you know, show your tears. And somehow as a girl, or at least like what I thought I had to be, was always just happy, bubbly. Don't give people negativity because like, you know, and I think it's because I don't want anyone else to feel upset or to share my load and heaviness onto other people. Not because of just like I need to make sure that everyone thinks I'm so strong. Like as a coach as well, I have to show my strength in order for people to trust. And so at the time it was fearful for me to be able to show that vulnerability too much. And I think that like as much as I thought I would still, you know, be able to share things, I'll be like, I'm an open book, but it's like, nah, like sometimes I'll share these little stories and I will be like, I can't believe this happened to you. You just don't look like a person who had to hold on to things like that.
It's like, what would a person like that look like? That's like a performance, isn't it?
There's like, no, every day I wake up with a smile on my face, and then like, you know, I go to bed, you know, the same smile on my
just
face.
sleeping with the smile on.
He's like, if I order chicken, someone gave me beef, I'm not going to be mad about it.
I'll be so pissed.
Screaming in the inside, or just crying. That identity, and I think this spin identity, I don't talk a lot about this, but a couple months ago, like as I said, I was in between jobs. This is the first time I've not taught spin or actually went to a spin class. I think 4 or 5 months now. This is the longest it's been since 9 years ago.
Wow.
Even during COVID,
we had time. For you then.
Big change. Like the moment the job was over, I literally was like, I need to go home right now. I was like, I can't stay here. I'm not a spin instructor anymore. I can't do this here. I have
that identity thing again.
And technically, I feel like as an adult, responsible adult who, you know, are trying to pursue the career, I think it is important for me to have chosen career. But then I sat in that moment and I was thinking, what is Jacquie without the spin instructor identity? I think that was also, for me, I was like, you faced all the tough emotions. We're going to go through this one as well.
Like bring it.
And I was like, screw it, let's try it. I'm going to stay. I'm not going to go home because I felt like it would be a retreat. Like I would be retreating just to be able to be back in my comfort zone. And I think I still love it very much and I can't wait to be back into it sometime in my life. But then I let it go to be able to find myself. I did my certification. I started a business. Like a lot of these, I feel like would probably be a lot more, as we said, the boxes in the back of the mind, and probably not have spent so much time or like fully divulged into it if I didn't lose that identity. Because I'll always be holding on to that. This is my main, and then everything else could be on the side. But probably when you're so, as we said about the peripheral vision, is that you kind of don't see what's actually waiting for you.
Yeah.
And it could be a lot better.
Yeah.
It could be another big lesson, but whatever that is, like, you gotta kind of move along as you grow, you keep growing with it. And so that identity it was scary. But we come out the other side.
Yeah. And it sounds like you've come out through like a more open mind as a result.
Yeah. Like now that it's like 4 or 5 months in, I'm a bit like, oh, you know, we enjoy being a student again, boxing together.
Yeah.
I love that. It's super fun. And I think also being able to see movement, exercise in a different light. Not just like, I feel like for the longest time, especially since actually becoming a full-time coach, is I have to do what, like, I love doing it. Like, don't get me wrong, there's not a single second, or like, there's not a single class that I've been to, no matter how broken I was, or like, you know, I can cry literally just minutes before I open the doors and start class. But never ever have I walked out of a spin class feeling devastated. Like I always love what I do, but I also feel like I didn't choose the routine anymore. By the time I started teaching, it was kind of like, these are the classes you set. You have to do this training. And I did higher walks. These are the training. Like it was always like set in stone. But now it's like, I choose to go to a class. I choose to not go to a class if I wanted to. I could have just not gone to any movement classes or workouts, and it wouldn't jeopardize my career. It wouldn't jeopardize anything apart from me feeling like I need it for my mental health. Oh, I actually need it for this, you know, and like almost like, again, starting from scratch, relearning that relationship with movement, with myself, and like how I want. It's not just like an obligation anymore. It's like I choose to do what I want to do.
I'm just hearing that you're so much more attuned to yourself. Like all of these really pivotal like changes. You'd be like, okay, so who am I? What do I actually need? What was making me happy? That's amazing.
Yeah. It sounds like you when you did your chosen family. You know?
Yeah. Like, it was like an unpleasant experience, but it forces you to really look at yourself and be like, well, who am I? What do I need? What makes me happy?
Yeah.
I love that. Yay! I'd love to know, along all of this journey of like very pivotal life changes, what has been an energy source for you?
Energy source. Coffee.
Constantly caffeinated. Like a true spin teacher.
Yeah. Okay, well, it used to be a lot of coffee or like energy drinks, and then turning it down. I think it was motivation, learning about motivation versus discipline. What I talked about with obligatory sort of like exercise for me versus like actually just going into every single session, like just loving it, enjoying it. I think you have to be motivated in order to like make stuff happen. I think the slowest of days for me is when I don't have a purpose, I don't have a goal. Like sometimes I wake up and, for example, when I lost my job and I'm like, what do I do now? I mean, apart from literally looking for jobs. But it's like, you don't have literally looking for jobs. But it's like, you don't have a clear goal. Like by this point, you're probably just trying to be like, how do I make sure that I get a next paycheck by the end of the month? Versus like, what do I actually want in 5 years' time? What is my plan in my life? And how do I like dial down? Okay, so if this is what's going to happen in 5 years, what do you need in the first year in order to get to that 5 year goal? Like that sort of life goals is so important for you to move forward. Otherwise, you're just living day by day and you just like, there's no direction. I think that's the hardest part. Like you don't know where you're going. As I said, I can be quite a workaholic, but I also tried jobs where like, this can be sounding a little spoiled, but like, there'll be jobs I go and I genuinely just don't know what I'm doing there. It doesn't make an impact in the world. It doesn't like help people. I'm like, what am I doing every single second I'm there? I'm just, we'll try to do what we do, but those are like the hardest of days, even though the job itself is nothing compared to teaching 3 swim classes a day. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'll just be like, get me out of here.
It's just like there's no purpose.
Yeah. So I think purpose is such a big drive, especially on like I've said about waking up and not, for example, not knowing what you're doing. I think that's hard. How do you then navigate that? For me would be, what do I need to accomplish for the day?
Yeah.
It could be something as simple as like one job application, or like go for a run. Make yourself feel better. Like maybe you just wake up, you're just groggy and the coffee's not working either. A light run, it could be like 3K, it could be like, however, if you don't run at all, go for 1K. I don't know. Just stop, break a low sweat, get your heart rate pumping. Like it doesn't have to be like a burn 4,000 calories.
Yeah.
And you just feel so much better. You come back and you're so rewarded. So much better than 3 energy drinks, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, less shaky.
Less shaky.
Yeah.
So that's
it's like almost then something to like structure your day around, is that you've got one thing you like know you need to do, and then you just set yourself up to be able to do it well.
Especially when like for me, even for example, like now that I've started my own business, but then you still need to have like a job on the side.
Yeah.
I think this is like everyday UK struggles, by the way. Like rent, taxes, bills, or whatnot. Like every day you actually do already have an agenda. But then sometimes you can have so much that you become so overwhelmed, you just don't want to do anything.
Yeah, you can get a bit frozen.
Yeah. So that's why my one rule is like, just one. Even if you did just one thing and you go to bed, you're like, I've done nothing, probably like binged the whole series on Netflix and did one thing. And I'd be like, cool.
Nice.
You know,
pat on the back.
Go to bed feeling great. I think that's more important than like, imagine waking up, same situation, let's say. You wake up and you try to do 10,000 things. You end up doing that whole overwhelmed Netflix binge. Yeah. Did that one thing anyways, going to bed feeling crap about yourself because you didn't do the other 9 things.
There's a lot of like should have.
Yeah, it's the mindset after all. It's the idea of like, it was exact same day externally, but one is like you feel more fulfilled going into bed and going like, all right, you know, cheers for another refreshing day tomorrow, and then maybe we'll do more then, versus going to bed with guilt, with shame, or whatever that is. You wake up the next day being like, all right, now what, you know?
Yeah, because it feeds into the next day. Maybe you had a bad night's sleep as well, feeling like bad about it.
Yeah, you don't want to hold that uncomfortable emotions to bed, I think.
That's a really helpful way to do like a day, because it can be so overwhelming otherwise, just being like, I've got all these things to do, and it's like, well, let's pick one, do that well, and let the rest sort of sort itself out. Yeah.
I mean, the agenda could literally be rest as well, by the way.
Yeah.
I took a nap.
Because sometimes, like we were just talking about before we recorded, like I have more of a goal to relax.
Yeah.
Like, for me, actually, it is to do some breathing exercises.
Proud of you.
Thank you. I did it today.
Everyone's productivity looks so different. And ultimately, like, as I said, like the external behavior action could be exactly the same, but how you, like your internal narrative can change so much of how you then move on with your life or move on to the next day or the week.
The way you're relating to it. That makes so much sense. Yeah. How do you imagine the next phase of your life?
Next phase of my life. Very exciting.
Yeah.
I am continuing on with my online business and to basically provide coaching services as well as health and wellness programs for ladies. Essentially, it really is what I said about like the whole idea of making something beautiful out of trauma. I feel like life threw me so many of these curveballs and these stories, these experiences in my life, so that I can understand people. Like I'm quite an empath to begin with. So like I want to be able to help guide people through their journeys, and like whether it's freedom movement, you know, whether like it is letting go the idea of being performative. It's like a lot of what we said in the mindset side of things, and like that's to me is like the next sort of like I'm done with skinny girl, skinny talk. You know, I'm more of the healthy girl era, and I would wish that you thought that would be over after like the whole Victoria's Secret fashion show was done like a couple years back and came back. Though. Came back. Yeah, but it was like I thought we were done with that, and then it came back again, and I was like, wow, this sort of like body image issue lives in us for so long as ladies. And you know, even when I was in the fitness industry, I was always about female empowerment, and so I really want to kind of like expand, or at least try to like build this culture for people to see beyond the calories, see beyond the like, marathons. It's not always just about being the most extreme and like, great if you are like amazing, happy for you. Yeah. But it's the fact that sometimes other people's, which I think is also not the best of like thoughts, but like how should I put it? Like especially when everyone shares their success stories, you can easily see it and be like, well, what am I doing?
Yeah, I haven't run a high rocks today. What?
Yeah. Or like even that, like we used to say about the girls and their angles of their body, and like, you know, and then we started debunking them and being like, oh, if you like put yourself in that angle and stick your bum a little bit more, you're gonna get it. Like
trend of like doing that photo thing,
especially on social media. And then now it's AI girls, like you can't defeat them. Have you seen those?
That's scary.
Yeah, because they're not even a real person.
No.
But then there's so many of them, and you see it. And how can girls, like, you know, especially if they're younger, like, how do you not see that and be like, well, why am I not like that?
Yeah.
I'm like, honey, because they're not real.
Yeah. It's made up.
Yeah.
So it's like there's really a need for your line of like helping work, like now more than ever, really. So I'm glad you're here.
I think we see a lot of that in our own community, which I'm very happy about. Yeah. I think that's the next phase is really to continue to embody that within myself and to be able to share that to other girlies as well. And continuing on in this sort of, as I said, I think I will come back to like spin. It's like, I don't want to just think like the challenge was to experience the loss of identity. But it doesn't mean that it's completely gone from me forever. So a lot of things is now that I've done all this change, you know, ring around the rosy, literally traveled halfway across the world and lived there for the past few years. And who knows where I'm going to be in the next stage, but is to be able to sort of hold on to all of the stuff that we've learned, what we said about what is good for us, we keep, what we need to move away from, we move away and let it go, move on, and then continue to evolve into like, you know, I think it's you never just snap into it, will you? But every year is a little different process. Yeah, but that's the adventure and the beauty of it.
It is. And like that's just as like glorious as everything else that comes out of it.
Exactly, yeah.
So if not the whole like skinny and like making ourselves smaller, what is kind of like the mantra that is sort of going to be driving your next phase?
I think it's mantra. It's about being at home with yourself, like feeling safe. Feeling safe became so important for me these 2 years, as we've mentioned about actually losing it all. And the feeling safe isn't like as long as I have enough money, I'll feel safe. As long as I have this, I'll feel safe. You can feel safe literally just standing on a tightrope in the middle of the Grand Canyon. You know, it's a lot of like internal, but also learning to not allow the external factors to phase me into changing again. Like continue to stay strong in your roots and keep that going.
So I guess that's what the like, oh, I need the money, it's like control rather than like safe.
Yeah, like it's controlling something external. I mean, from what I've learned for this amount of time is that external factors aren't really what's going to heal you inside.
It doesn't work, sadly.
It doesn't work.
Tried it, did not work.
Yeah, and I can't lie. I feel like sometimes there's moments now that I'm here, and mind you, all my friends are still in Hong Kong, but I've actually felt sometimes that I felt safer here with all of the attacks and all of this. I still felt somehow there were moments where I felt safer here than I did at home. And that's when I learned it's not about where you are, where you live, what you're doing. It's all within yourself, and everything else will kind of just come along the way, I think.
That mindset.
Yeah, and then just find Jacquie to ooze Jacquie.
Yeah, I love that. Ooze Jacquie everywhere. We need her. Like a water gun.
Yeah.
I love that. And our final question is, what is one lesson that you would love everyone to know?
One lesson. I think coming back to the topic of befriending fear, I think is kind of always think about that example of like something that you've done in the past and you were so scared to do it. You probably held yourself back. Remember that whole fear process that you've looped around and like stopped yourself and held yourself back, and then after you did it, you're like, oh, it's actually not that bad. It's like bungee jumping, and remember that. And then every time you do face something challenging, an obstacle, fear of uncertainty, the loss of identity, not knowing what that leap is going to bring you to, just remember that you continue to move with that fear, and just know that the fear isn't just about holding you back. Fear can also be something that makes you cautious. It's you're fearful because you care, because it's something that's important to you. So like when you don't see fear as something that's scary, but in fact something that's going to help benefit you in order to continue to move forward into whatever you want to accomplish and achieve. Then don't fear fear. Befriend fear.
Befriend fear. And I love that. That's such a helpful way of seeing it. It's just a sign that you care. Like the fear itself isn't like a threat. It's just showing you that you like care about something.
Like there's always a flip side to a lot of emotions. And for fear, it's really the idea that you care.
The bigger that you love, the bigger the fears.
Exactly. Yeah.
Amazing. Thank you for sharing.
Thank you for having me.
Everything. Yay. There we have it. So I found that such an impactful conversation. There was so much that she was saying that I was like, I thought my head was going to fall off. I was like nodding so much to agree with her and just really taking it all in. I really respected her mindset of choosing to like turn and face into these experiences she was having, all like a variety of difficult and fearful experiences, and using these also as opportunities to evolve into a more like open mind and challenging like a past pride of being fearless and taking a good look at yourself, which is not easy, and thinking, actually, where am I just turning away from these feelings of fear? Is it really a fearless? Is that a real thing? And I loved her mantra at the end of being at home with yourself and like turning inwards and finding that like unshakable sense of safety that comes from something that can't be found externally. So I would love to know, what have you taken from this conversation? Please let us know in the conversation in the chat, and I look forward to talking to you there.